you guys years back. It was a stupid question, okay?
Okay.
Do you think people meet at Christie Pitts and open trunks of cars and throw in duffel bags of money to say, nobody knows about this, but this is like an added bonus? And I think Brian and Jamie, you both said, are you a moron? No one does that. No one would meet at Christie Pitts and plant a shrub. And then somebody in a black suit with gloves on would say, great job. Here's $7 million in cash, and throw it in their truck.
I love this story.
Pretty damn cool.
I love this story, man. This story is so fulfilling. Man. Shout out to Pablo Torre, who broke this open today. So if you're not familiar with it, Torre on his podcast went through everything about how there was some allegedly shell company called Aspiration that allegedly was a tree planting company.
Yeah.
Owned and operated, or at least funded by Steve Ballmer, who, of course, is one of the richest men on earth. And
He's
also
the eighth wealthiest guy on the planet.
Eighth wealthiest guy on the planet. Loves trees. Pretty cool. Loves trees.
Cool. Pretty damn cool.
Owns the Clippers. And according to Torre's reporting and research, that Kawhi Leonard was getting $28 million total, $7 million per to be an endorser for tree planting. $7 million cash. And by all accounts, has never done anything. Doesn't like trees. I don't know if he's around trees. I don't know if he's a tree guy whatsoever.
Apparently he loves apples. Did you hear the Popovich story of the apples where he ate like a dozen apples at a team meal one time?
So apple trees. Maybe that's what Kawhi's into. I don't know.
This was outrageous this morning. This was outrageous, like when I read that.
Noodles, apparently he asked Larry Applebaum, not Larry Applebaum.
Larry Tannenbaum. We have a friend, Lawrence Applebaum.
Lawrence.
Shout out to Lawrence Applebaum.
Shout out to Lawrence, one of our favorites.
Lawrence, yes.
Larry Tannenbaum.
You are fake news.
And he wanted to do the same thing, and it's like, how much do you actually need, man?
Right.
How much do you
there's a radio guy in Phoenix who I guess very connected in the NBA. I love how now that the door's broken open on this, all this reporting that people have been sitting on for 6 years is blowing up. But apparently, according to this guy, I'll get his name and his credentials in a moment. But Tannenbaum was bent out of shape when Kawhi left because Tannenbaum had done everything he could to secure upwards of $15 million in endorsement deals for Kawhi, which, again, happens in sports all the time. Everyone's got endorsement deals. Everybody, every superstar player has endorsement deals. And endorsement deals are one thing. A tree planting front where you're just getting straight cash is pretty wild.
It's a shell company, man. That's
it's a
money
shell
laundering.
company. It's gone bankrupt. And as a result, all the details are public now. And Kawhi Leonard and Steve Ballmer and the Clippers are possibly going to have the answer for this.
So here's my question. Here's my question.
That's like 5 first-round draft picks, man. Like the last time this happened,
we'll see what the
massive.
NBA does here. We'll see what they end up doing.
So here's my question, though. We'll see how deep this runs because if the other owners are like, stick it to them, we don't do that, then, hit them with everything. If they do it, they'll be like, hey, slap his wrist, nothing to see here. Because keep in mind, Steve Ballmer, a brilliant man, one of the wealthiest guys on the planet, this isn't in a vacuum. This isn't a one-off. I think this happens everywhere. We've talked you and I have talked about it with college, with college recruiting where they're like, hey, come play for Princeton or whatever, our college, and you can work at the rink, but you don't really have to show up and we can give you a scholarship. Like all of the circumventing is out there. It'll be interesting to see in the NBA particularly, if the other owners band together and go, nail this guy, or, hey, slap him on the wrist and let's make this story go away because we did something too.
You're absolutely right.
True.
We will know.
Very, very good point.
We will know if the other owners are doing this based on how the NBA reacts.
Yeah.
Because if it's one of one, then they should blow up. The other owners should say this is ridiculous because the difference between college and this is there's a salary cap, and that's the whole point of this. You're circumventing the salary cap. That's supposed to be the equalizer. In college, in junior hockey. We've always known it. Money under the table. It's a recruitment tool. This is a recruitment tool, but it's about paying a guy to get around the cap. And if that's the case and the other owners are not doing it, then they're going to freak out, you would presume. If they are doing it, then you're right. They're just going to say, hey, go deal with him, but don't come look at us.
Yeah.
And you know who will know if other owners are doing it? Steve Ballmer.
Exactly.
And he's a lunatic. Right? This is a nightmare for the NBA because he's got so much money. Yeah. You want to go to court? Let's go to court. He's going to yell and scream. He's a loose cannon. Yeah. When he's talking about urinals, he's a loose cannon. Now he's talking about shell companies and cap circumventing. Who knows what this guy's going to blurt out? It's the worst owner you could have in this situation because he's a complete maverick and cowboy. He's got more money than anybody could ever imagine. And who knows how he's going to react. I can tell you this. Kawhi Leonard is sleeping easy. He doesn't care. No, right? What does Kawhi care? He's going to miss some money here, but he's not getting penalized. This is an ownership issue. Kawhi's sitting there saying,
why is he going to miss money? Hasn't he already been paid in full?
No, I guess because of the bankruptcy, they might owe him one more payment.
The tree company went under.
The tree company went under. So I guess that's the thing. He's still owed like $7 million.
Yeah, well, there's the amount of memes. This is where the internet wins.
Some of the trees go bad, or like what the hell?
I don't know. I love that it's a tree. Do you know how lazy that is? Yeah. Like, does Ballmer have some like hippie kid who suggested that? Like, just make it a tree. Like, make a shell company as a tree planting company. Like, that's what people are going to believe is absolutely absurd.
I think it's brilliant because if you look at California being a really green state as far as progressive climate change, all of that, it's like, hey, I'll put $50 million into a shell company to go plant trees. Nothing to see over here.
Right.
Listen, it happens. Again, sports different. You see it in politics. You see all the different things where the shell companies are formed, kickbacks, all of that type of stuff. This is the interesting one because does this blow it wide open for all sports? Because I guarantee you, Gary Bettman probably had to have a conversation with some of his owners going, where are we at here? Because other leagues are going to get
if you have a salary cap.
Right.
You're right. I mean, if you're a Clipper fan, you're thinking, hey, this is great. My guy's trying something. Right. You'd also be asking, why do we still suck? Like, how have we not won anything when we're cheating and circumventing and we got tree companies and we're spending cash?
Oh, no, there's no question, Hayes. There's some guys sweating that have been handing over bags of money for years that have been doing this, and they're just waiting.
Yeah, or other players now who, like, you think, did Paul George, was he planting trees?
Sure.
James Harden out there planting trees? You know, like who else with the Clippers has been planting trees? That's what I want to know.
Did you see the list, though? Like he named other people. Like Robert Downey Jr. was like, why is he getting paid?
But the thing is, he's like a free citizen. He's not.
But it's just
burdened by a salary cap or anything.
It's funny, like you say, all of a sudden, hey, here's some money for this guy and for this guy. Like it's funny. You start to uncover some of this nonsense. You're going to see a lot of cockroaches scattering because, they're trying to hide it under a rock. I just think this is fascinating because you're right. Ballmer doesn't care. Like, he's one of the richest guys on the planet, and I think he's good for the NBA. I really do. I think he's a passionate owner. Said, to hell with you, no tax money from California. I'll just build my own stadium. I'll just do what I need to do. And by all accounts, he's a good guy. But this could blow everything wide open.
That's the question, though. Like, if the NBA goes into this and they realize you've done this, then you got to hammer them. And he will care if it costs them 3 first-round picks. The money won't matter. They'll fine him $5 million. He'll say, "Here, tree money. Go take some cash. Take Kawhi's tree cash." Like, he'll pay that with ease. But if it gets to a point where they really start laying punitive damages on him and real penalties, then that will have an effect. And here's the thing with Ballmer, though. He stormed in. Remember, he bought the team for $2 billion, which is peanuts now. It's a great investment now that you look at it. At the time, that was crazy money. Crazy. But he had it, and he wanted it. He said, here's $2 billion. I'll take it. You're right. He's built this stadium. This Kawhi Leonard scenario, Kawhi Leonard has jammed him up so badly, directly and indirectly. Kawhi Leonard cost him Shai Gilgeous-Alexander because in order for Kawhi to come, he needed tree money and he needed Paul George. Yeah. So it's cost him a fortune to pay for Kawhi, a fortune to pay for Paul George. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and 1 million picks went the other way. And look at Oklahoma City. Yeah. Kawhi has done nothing for the Clippers. Nothing. And Ballmer just keeps dumping money into him. And now this story's blowing up. it's amazing what's happened with the Kawhi Leonard Clippers legacy.
Dude, he's hardly played, hasn't he?
He's hardly played. He's hurt all the time.
Yeah,
he's hurt all the time. They haven't won
season.
anything.
Yeah, and they had that big write-up about him a couple of years ago where wasn't there something where he was like demanding on warming up on his own? He couldn't stand being around his teammates, and it's been a mess.
It's always a circus, and there's obviously Raptor fans who are looking back on this thinking, this is why he left, and Steve Ballmer cost Kawhi, the Raptors a chance at a repeat. Kawhi was going to L.A. I believed that for years. It's been 6 years. I think we got to move on. In reality, even if Kawhi stayed, who knows if it would have worked. By all accounts, he put forth this opportunity to the Raptors. If you want me to stay, you got to get Paul George, and you're going to have to find me a bunch of money, endorsement deals and tree money and Christie Pitts and all that. And, the ship sailed. It's unfortunate, but I think he always wanted to be in Southern California, and he was going home, and he was going to find a way to make it work.
Looking back at it, Hayes, what would you rather have done? Would you have taken a chance to run it back with Kawhi and all the nonsense and the Christie Pitts and the high maintenance, knowing that you could end up in this position now with a mess on your hands? Like, what would you?
I guess when you look back on it, maybe it was worth a shot because now we know what we know. The last few years have been somewhat of a write-off for the Raptors. So if it was going to get to that point anyway.
Yeah. But they don't have a Shea Gillis. They don't have somebody like that.
No,
in
they
the
don't.
Forefront, right?
Again, they weren't going to get Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
No.
They were going to have to give up the equivalent to go the other way to Oklahoma City. But
right, that's what I mean.
it is a wild story, and we will find out. If this is happening elsewhere with the Clippers, elsewhere in the NBA, elsewhere in sports. Is there more reporting to this? A lot of people scrambling, you would think, trying to figure out exactly how to handle whatever the next wave could be in terms of money under the table because. Again, none of us are naive. This stuff happens. In
Big
negotiations, players are like, what can you find me? What can you get me? I want more money. And if anything, it might put pressure on the biggest markets and the richest owners to say, hey, this guy's doing it. Like, why are you ever losing out on anybody? If it's simply money, why aren't you finding the money?
Well, do you remember the joke? And I'm lightly saying this because it is a joke, but there was a joke around Toronto when Zach Hyman was a free agent saying, that'd be interesting. He signs with the Leafs, and he also gets a book deal on the side, like something like that, because he's a children's book writer. These are things that teams tried to get creative about. This was a creative one, but he got
had those
clipped
conversations with Stamkos, didn't they? Talking about
the Canadian Tire
he
guy
could make cash and
endorsement deals.
Yeah, but those are endorsements, right?
Yeah,
You're
those are like
endorsements.
legitimate, and there are owners that endorse their own players. Right? Like Rogers endorses their own players. They own every team here.
Yeah, they have commercials with the Leaf players.
Yeah, but it's a public company, and it's on the books, and everyone knows it's like a tit for tat. Like, obviously, you're representing your team, and you're going to pump out this company, and this is different. This is a tree planting shell company, allegedly. Kawhi never showed up for any of it.
I remember us going hard at O, though. Like you did say, like, just go down to Christie Pitts with a hockey bag full of cash, and we were this isn't the Sopranos.
Being stupid. It was stupid talk. Like, it was stupid talk.
It seemed to be at the time, but maybe you were.
You were on.
Maybe you're an idiot savant. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe maybe you hammered that one. Maybe you nailed it.
But the memes out there of
so good.
It's the Sopranos walking him, down to a hill and stuff like. There's so many memes.
Or even all the Sopranos. When they go to the construction site scenes where they're just sitting in lawn chairs. That's Kawhi in like a state park. Yeah. He's got to show up for an hour in order to get a $7 million.
Yeah.
I love that it's a tree planting company. Yeah, I don't know why that cracks me up. It just seems so lazy and ridiculous. I'll just call it a tree planting company, and we have all this money to endorse tree planting.
Outrageous.
Anyway, more on that as the story develops as we move forward. Again, you're not going to hear anything from Kawhi. Kawhi's not doing a sit down with Jim Gray tonight. And it's going to be hilarious when people get to Kawhi, because they will eventually, and he's just going to stare at them. He's just going to stare awkwardly when a reporter goes up to him and asks him about this. He's going to have no answer, no personality, and I'm sure he doesn't really care because he's got his money and the PA is going to protect him, and this is more about Ballmer and the NBA and what they're going to do. Yeah. All right, we got Brandon Beane coming up, the GM of the the Bills in about 15 minutes. Gerry's percentages. Gerry's back at 5:30. We're looking forward to that. The Jays are back in action. What a game that was last night.
Oh, my God.
They almost let it get away.
Nailed it with the tweet again. You're like, this is going to be 15-13, and Heineman's going to be out there, whoever is going to be out there pitching.
Yeah.
Like, it was a circus, man.
It was, yet, a win is a win is a win. Barrios, I don't know what his future is this year with the team. Like, he's under contract, but I don't see him getting the ball in the playoffs the way things are going. He's still going to get a few more starts. He's got time to turn things around. But as of now, it's Bieber, it's going to be Scherzer, it's going to be Gausman, and then it's Bassett. So I don't know what role Barrios plays. He's in a really dark place, really dark place. But credit the offense for realizing that. And, they spot him 8 through 2 innings. This George Springer is so good right now, and Bo Bichette is so good right now. It's wild. Like, his numbers, Springer is second in the American League in OPS, only behind Judge. That is a staggering stat. I still can't digest that. I can't believe we're into September and that's the truth. That's how good he's been all year.
Well, especially with what he was doing last year.
Yes.
Yeah,
it was a mess last year. 2 years ago, it wasn't good. I thought he was done. I thought he was completely finished, and they had to move on from him. And he's been their best player. He's been their MVP. He's the lifeline. He's the guy with World Series, experience and pedigree, and he's won a World Series MVP. And he's dragging this team. And Bichette's been great, and other guys have been very good. But Springer's numbers are so good, it's crazy.
Yeah, like Vladdy got going a little bit
got going last night.
Like, it was 8-1 and I blinked. So I kind of, you turn away, have a bite to eat. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, you come back to it and I'm like, oh my God, like
Well, Kiner Falefa jammed them up too, and they just got him back.
That's the one where it's like you can't overlook that throw to first base where it's like, dude,
you can't make that throw. And you could tell he was mortified because he just got back. He was with the team a couple of years ago, and he came in, and he's saying all the right things. By all accounts, great guy, team guy. I'll play anywhere, whatever you need from me. And he can get them out of a jam, and it's a bad throw. I mean, and next thing you know, the ball's out of the park, and
it just unraveled from there.
And,
I got a little nervous. I was like, okay, they made it. What was the closest it was? 10-8? Like,
it was 10-8. It was 8-6 at one point.
Yeah, like it was close, and I'm like, okay, they're teetering.
Yeah.
Teetering.
But they held on.
Held on. Like
they held on.
Entertaining game.
They go again tonight with Bieber on the mound. So Steve Phillips will join us on that and more coming up just after 5. So we got a couple of things we want to get into here. Yesterday, we made a mistake. I made the mistake because we were so excited to be on the air yesterday that we got on, we were flying, we're all in studio, we hadn't seen each other in a while, we got to 6 p.m., and then we wrapped up, and we basically said, all right, we're out of here, and that was my mistake, that was our mistake. We've been doing this a long time. We've been in the afternoons for 10 years. We started, 13 years ago, 14 years ago as a pure radio show, and we've evolved a lot. We put a lot of effort into it. We have a lot of pride for the show. We love our show. We've had a lot of help from great people behind the scenes for a long, long time. We wouldn't be here without them. But ultimately, we wouldn't be here if we didn't cultivate an audience. That's why we are what we are, because we have the audience that we have. And we're very fortunate that we have the backing that we have, because so many people tune in every day in so many different ways that we're no longer just a radio show. We're TV, web, YouTube Live, podcast, streaming. We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We're everywhere. And we are moving to 2 hours. We're going to be 4 to 6. We're still on every single day, Monday through Friday, 4 to 6. And, there's a multitude of reasons for that. But first and foremost, I think what works with this show is our chemistry and our energy and being on our toes. And we believe we can do that incredibly well through 2 hours. We have a huge backing from TSN to get this out in every possible avenue you could possibly want to digest it. We understand in the modern world, not everyone watches live or listens live. Some people, download the podcast at midnight. Some people go on a road trip 2 weeks later and listen to the show or watch the show on YouTube or whatever it is. So this was a decision that we believe is going to be in the best interest of the evolution of the show, doing the show right. We're still here every single day. It's going to allow us the flexibility of doing different emergency shows, and we're going to have a lot of content away from 4 to 6, Monday to Friday, which we're going to develop over time. So we're really excited about it. It's not It's not something that, this is a cost cutting or this is a decision to make the show pop bigger
we think it's
and
going to be better
than ever. Yes,
and
exactly.
there's going to be some days if something massive happens, or if something happens after a Leaf game or during a Leaf game, we'll stay on till 7 o'clock. I believe that's an option for us, isn't
Absolutely
it?
Absolutely, it is.
Yeah.
It will. Yes.
And
I just
pop
think
up
there's-
after a Leaf game, or if something big happens, a massive trade. So there's going to be a bunch of different options for us. And I think ultimately it comes down to that the three of us think it's going to be better.
Yes.
And we know it's going to be better.
And growing the brand. Like, keep in mind, we're going to be on site. They're going to be doing stuff with us this year. That's the biggest thing that I'm excited about, is we're actually going to be expanding into different things. And that's what we should be focusing on. But, there were some people, like, there was somebody.
Listen, a lot of people were curious, which we appreciate, because
One
that's a
guy's
sign.
like, "You I was dying. I was laughing out loud. My wife goes, "What's so funny?" I tweet out George Springer tire pumping thing. Like, George Springer's a cyborg. Like, nothing but positivity and great. Some guy writes immediately, 2-hour fraud, and just that's it. And I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Like, what is that? It has nothing to do with what we're talking about. And I get it. Like, we're authentic. We try to be honest. We understand that the audience is along for the ride with us, and that's what we've tried to create and cultivate for a long time. And it's on us to let everyone know, and that's what we're doing. We're not hiding anything. This is our reality. This is what's going on, and we're excited, and we're going to be here, and we're going to be rocking, and we believe the show is going to be bigger and better than ever. And that's our plan. And that's we're all in. We're fully committed. It's not any deeper than that. So my bad yesterday. I meant to get to it. We meant to get to it. It hit 6 o'clock, and we're like, we got to go. We're out of here. But
and we're done.
Handshake.
Exactly. Handshake. Well, fist bump. Right?
Fist
Not
bump,
quite a
exactly.
handshake. You can't get the shake out. You can get a fist bump.
Bad shoulder.
Yeah, shoulder it. We'll shoulder dap it. Okay, and we got a campaign coming out, too. We're looking for a tagline for the show. We'll come back and explain it. We'll get into it. We're looking for help on this via social media, email, whatever you got, tweets, Instagram, wherever you can find us and connect with us. We'll tell you more about it this hour. Brandon Beane's coming up. Jay's back in action tonight. Kawhi's getting tree planting money. It's a wild Tuesday. Wild Wednesday, I guess, here on OverDrive, and it continues on TSN 1050 and up on TSN 2.
The NFL returns to TSN 1050 tomorrow night as the defending champion Philadelphia Eagles take on their division rival Dallas Cowboys. Coverage starts at 8 p.m. Hear it all on TSN 1050. The NFL lives here.
All right, OverDrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Brandon Beane coming up, GM of the Bills. They were the team on Hard Knocks this year.
Yeah.
And we'll ask him about that experience. Maybe I believe they've shifted out, but maybe there's a camera in there. Maybe his office is bugged or something. I don't know. But Bills get started Sunday night. The Ravens in town. Like, what a start.
What a heater game, man.
Oh, it's such a heater game. Like, tomorrow, everyone's just excited because the NFL's back, but it's Dallas-Philly. It's a good game. Friday night down in Brazil, it's Chargers-Chiefs. So you've got Mahomes and company, divisional game on a Friday night. Sunday night, Ravens-Bills. And Monday night's Bears-Vikings, which is a good game. You can't beat it. You can't beat it. Like,
awesome.
they kickstart the party so well in the NFL. And I guess Roger Goodell was doing an interview today and being coy about Taylor Swift possibly working out details on being the halftime show.
Dude, don't you think that as soon as he brings that up, it's going down?
You think he's tipping his hand and that he's actually letting people know this is going to happen?
You think Roger Goodell, of all people, is going to tiptoe around something and be like, nah, maybe that happens? I think as soon as that even comes up, that's
really? I just
don't know.
don't see her playing the halftime show. I don't know why I find it so
Well, I think if that was the
far-fetched.
case, he would have shot it down and would have been like, that's just something that's not happening in the near future. Don't you?
I don't know. Maybe allowing people to talk about it is a good thing. There's no such thing as bad press. It's somewhat innocent. He said maybe. I don't know. I'll believe it when I see it, that she actually does it. But I guess at one point she was waiting to own all of her music, which she does now. But how much more can she get? I mean, she's conquered the world already.
She
playing
has.
the Super Bowl. What's that going to do for her?
It just, I think it's another platform. But like, look at it. She went on the podcast with the brothers. That was like the highest rated podcast in the history of the world, I believe. Something crazy like that.
Yeah, new heights. They were doing like 1 million live views on YouTube, which is absurd.
Yeah.
Like absurd, the amount of people streaming it live.
Your traditional, it wasn't your traditional sports fan. Like it was, my daughter was watching. My wife's friends were watching live, going like this. Did you watch Taylor? I'm like, no, I didn't watch. I watched the highlights. I thought she was good. I thought she was funny. Like she's authentic. That's the one thing I got from it.
Well, she's engaged now, right?
Yeah.
Like her and Travis Kelce, and we'll see what Kelsey's got left in store. I'm not convinced he's going to turn the clock back.
That could get ugly.
Yeah.
Could get ugly. If the wheels have fallen off and Mahomes is relying on him, and Rashee Rice is suspended the first 6 games of the year, and they got a target on their backs, right? Like they're the Chiefs. Yeah. They've been to 3 straight Super Bowls. Everyone's gunning for them. The Bills are waiting for them. The Bills always have success during the regular season against Kansas City. It's just in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They just find a way to out-clutch them. It's always close.
It might be a question for Beane. Like, do you think that he privately has a window, or do you think, the window of winning, or do you think that any time that he can put Josh Allen behind center, he's got a chance to win?
That's a good question, man. I would feel pretty confident with a healthy Josh Allen.
Me too.
For the next decade.
There's windows in every organization talks about a window to win. Mm-hmm. I know there's outside noise that talks about a window. I'm just curious if he kind of has one or is in one, or obviously believes he's in one right now, but
for sure.
How much more to it is there?
Well, I think the Bills, this could be their year. Hayes, did you call it? Was it last night?
I did it last night on Jay. I had quite the experience on with Jay last night. So
did you?
I have seasonal allergies. My allergies have actually been great, but I guess pollen's bad right now, dust. I think the Blue Jays. I think I'm allergic to Jose Barrios pitching. And I was exploding last night, my allergy. I was sneezing. I was wheezing. I was a disaster. And I was going on to tape with Jay, and I was stalling because I was not in the frame of mind to go on with him.
Really?
So, yeah, they're like, we're ready for you. And I'm like, yeah, 2 more minutes. And I'm doing nose sprays. My wife's like, you look like a disaster, and you sound like garbage. You can't go on with Jay right now. You got to tell him to wait. So I waited as long as I could, and I finally went on. I don't know what the hell I said because I was so in my own head.
Why wouldn't you just pull the pin on it and just say, it's not going down tonight?
It's because I made a commitment. I'm on with those guys all the time. And it's not that I couldn't do it. It was an allergy thing, right? It wasn't anything serious. I was just waiting for the allergy meds to kick in. And anyway, to answer your question, yes, I'm on the Bills to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's not some bold prediction. It's not like I'm saying I think Jacksonville is going to win the Super Bowl. The Bills win the division every year. They're going to do it again this year. And they've got Josh Allen.
Yes.
But they got a great foundation there with Beane, with McDermott, with Allen. They've got a lot of continuity on both sides of the ball. They've got a division that I think they're going to win pretty easily. They got a pretty good schedule in terms of winning percentages and difficulty and who they're going against. So I think they're chasing that 1 seed in the AFC. I think they're going to get it. Everything's going to go through them. It would be beneficial if Kansas City could step aside, right? Exit stage left before you get to Buffalo. Can't control that if you're the Bills, but I'd like to see that happen. And if you avoid Kansas City, what's stopping Buffalo? What's stopping them from winning a Super Bowl? They're so good on both sides of the ball.
I would like to ask Brandon when he comes on was it distracting with the Hard Knocks, or did he embrace it? You see, the Leafs went through it a couple years back. I guess you get used to the cameras around.
I don't know how they do, Jamie. I dived into I don't know. I was so late to this. Hayes, you brought I dove into it really late, and it was just in the last couple weeks. The Habs won, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I pissed my pants laughing when the guy wheeled up to Jeff Molson, and he's like, "This is the worst opening you guys have ever done." And he just because I remember you talking about that.
I couldn't believe that guy.
That guy, and he was dead serious.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like, Jeff, He's like the worst opening since I've been around. What are you doing? And I think Molson said, "Are you serious?" And the guy was like, "Dead serious."
Yeah.
And then he kept walking. But to have those cameras around every day, I just don't know how anybody can put up with it, especially a GM, because you got your work to do, you got phone calls to make, and then you got to sit every day. I don't know what the routine is, but you're sitting every day with the camera and being like, "This is what this is,"
Right.
Yeah, you might have to put a filter on, like just going like, because you want to maybe lose your what sometimes, and you're like, that guy's got a camera on in the corner.
HBO guy in the corner.
HBO, like just sitting there. His guy's got his hat on backwards, eating an apple or doing something, and you're like, you want to lose yourself or yell at somebody, and you got to be in control. Like that's the thing I think would be
state secrets, right? You're talking about something you don't want anyone else to know.
Exactly.
Well, let's go right to the source. Here he is, the GM of the Buffalo Bills, HBO superstar. Here's Brandon Beane. How you doing, Brandon?
I'm doing well. How you guys doing today?
We're doing well. Are the cameras still around, or have they shifted out of town?
We can thank the good Lord. They've moved on. We did our jobs. We got through it, and all set for the season now. Ready to roll. No cameras.
Brandon, was that distracting at all? Like for you, did you have to change your mindset? We were just talking about before you came on, like having them there. It felt like 24/7. Did you have to have a different mindset of how you did business?
Yes and no. The short answer is yes. I will say this. I went into it expecting the worst because that's just kind of my mentality when I know I got to be kind of, arm twisted to do this. And so because you're exactly right. You don't want to like not be yourself in whatever you're doing, whether you're in a meeting with a player, staff, whoever it is. You want to be authentic. And naturally, if someone's waving a camera in your face, you're going to feel a certain way. So I do think because they've done it enough over the years, they've come up with tricks. Like in my office, it was 2 different mounted cameras, and you kind of got used to it. And knowing that, we did have some editing power, like, hey, you can't have that conversation in there, things like that. And, they also gave me a button. Hey, I got Terry Pagula calling me, and I really don't want even the audio on here. I can flip it off. So I give them a lot of credit. They worked with us, got what they needed to get, and, we tried to work with them as well, knowing they had a product they had to produce for HBO.
Right, and it's obviously a insight to the way an organization is run, and a lot of fans love it. I love it. Hard Knocks has been great for a long time, and I think the plan is, to learn new things about every team that's involved in this. And I guess I'll ask you that, like, what did you want, or what would you hope the NFL community learned about the Buffalo Bills?
I think that that this culture is real. It's people talk about that word culture is thrown around a lot, and that the players on this team are good players for sure, like most all NFL players are. But these guys are genuinely good dudes, and they care about the fans. They care about each other. They care about their roles, whether it's signing autographs for kids, whether it's helping support animal adoptions, whatever subjects were covered. These guys were real, and I thought they did a good job on the show of finding everyone obviously knows Josh, and people are going to, really tune in on the segments with him, but coming up with some of the other guys, the KJ Hamlers, the Zach Davidsons, the Jimmy Charlos, Frank Gore Jr., like those are good stories too. And I was hopeful that they would find, some of those guys and people could really find themselves relating to their lives, because some of these lives is very hard. You get released, you got a wife, you got kids, whatever your situation is. Now you've got to go look for a new job, and your wife's got to look for a new daycare, a new place to get her hair done. And I think sometimes that story doesn't get told. Yes, there's glamour in this life if you're Josh Allen or some of these big people, but for a lot of these players, they're just trying to survive in the league and keep a job and keep the paychecks coming in.
Brandon, we were just talking about Josh, and we were also talking about the concept of windows to win championships. Our host here, Brian, has got you guys winning it all this year. It was quite nice to hear that out of his mouth, a Green Bay Packers fan, but he picked you guys. Like with Josh, do you guys talk about windows to win, or if it's ending or if it's coming close to, or are you just confident that when you throw him behind center, you're going to have a good chance to win every time?
Well, it's a quarterback league, right? And that's it's the most important position in all of sports, no matter what sport there is. And if you're good there, you got a chance. That's where it starts. And going back to when we got here in 2017, you look back at the 17-year drought this club had been on. One of the main factors was they were not able to find a franchise quarterback, and really, it had been since Jim Kelly since they had sustained success. And so that's the number one thing that, my conversation with the Pagulas in the interview process is, if we don't do that, we're going to be, in that rut. It doesn't mean we can't make the playoffs while we find it. It doesn't mean we can't start building something, but we will not be an every year contender, or, you're not going to find yourself, fighting for the division every year until you find that franchise piece. You look at every year's playoffs, and most years, the final 8 teams, most of them have some sort of a franchise quarterback. You can get a one-off here and there, a team got hot, a one-year wonder type things, but, generally speaking, the final 8 teams have good quarterback play, and so we do feel, as long as Josh is playing, kind of the way he has played, whether he's the MVP or not, that gives us a chance. But it takes more than that. We got to protect him. We got to be able to score points, and then we got to be able to stop. The AFC is loaded with quarterbacks. We've got to be able to stop those teams that we're going to see, when we do make the playoffs.
With Brandon Beane, the GM of the Buffalo Bills, and you guys go to the playoffs every year. You win the AFC East every year. And seemingly you run into one team every year, and we know who that is, and it's Kansas City. And you've had great regular season success against Kansas City, where you play them in Buffalo, Kansas City. I think you go to a neutral site game in October, November, you're going to win that game. It's the smallest of margins in the playoffs, though. Like, are you a believer in the clutch gene? Is that what the separator is between Mahomes, the Chiefs, and everyone else, including yourselves? Or how do you change that, where you apply the regular season success in winning and make it happen against Kansas City in the playoffs?
Well, I think most times we've played them regular season or postseason, big games like that, unless someone's just turning the ball over and it turns into a blowout, which has not been the case when we've played each other. It's going to come down to usually 3-4 plays, game-changing plays. And you go back to even some of the games we won in the regular season. We won there Vaughn's first year. We were down, and late in the game, Vaughn gets a sack. We get the punt, and we go down and score. They get the ball, and Vaughn gets another pressure. Taron Johnson gets an intercept. Like, it's your best players have to make a big play or two here or there. I think it's more than just regular season versus postseason. We obviously have to produce that, but it's not like we're dominating them in the regular season and then we get to the postseason. We're not, and it's not like we're not playing well. It's two teams that know each other well, that are well coached, high-level quarterback play, good defense in general. And at the end of the day, we have to find a way to make one or two of those plays that we haven't made in some of those games. But you don't need to blow things up. You don't need to change things. Again, I would trade a couple of those plays we made that I just referred to in a regular season game to happen in a postseason game. But to this point, we haven't done it. But we're not giving into that. The past is the past. Nobody controls that. We're focused. Our eyes are on this season, and listen, nothing's guaranteed. We're just trying to truly focus on the Ravens well before we're talking about winning a division or potentially facing a team like the Chiefs in the postseason later this year.
Yeah, we were buzzing about that. Sunday night start the season week 1 Ravens-Bills, and you guys can't control the scheduling. The NFL will do that in conjunction with TV partners. But do you like that idea? Like hit the ground running against a powerhouse. Baltimore is a great team too. Like how beneficial, if at all, can this be for your team to start week 1 at home against an opponent like that?
Yeah, I mean it's as tough a match as you can get. I mean, I think we won like 27-25, and same thing. What we just talked about in Kansas City, those guys, we lost to them over there. They made more plays than we did. They came here and ball bounces, our way on a couple fumbles. Their tight end dropped a 2-point play that he's going to catch 99 out of 100 times. You just sometimes you can't explain things. I'm sure they would say that hey, they had every right, and some of the same things that we've said when we've lost, to the Chiefs in the playoffs. And so we always expect when we go against a team like Baltimore that it's going to be a knockdown drag out. And, if both teams protect the ball, I'll bet you it comes down to, 3 or 4 plays again, who makes those plays. But, I don't get caught up in who we play week 1 versus week 10. Every game's truly its own game because of injuries happen. People do all these preseason predictions. Well, tell me who's in the lineup for us and tell me who's in the lineup for them, and I can probably give you a better idea. And again, you guys know as well as I do, you follow it, what your team looks like in September is rarely what it looks like, by Thanksgiving and into December. You're trying to you're starting the road now of a long journey, but we got to make sure, win or lose this game, that we continue to build this team and make sure it's the right type of team that can, A, win a division, and B, have success in the postseason.
Brandon, before we get you out of here, I got to ask you about the new stadium. Like, is there going to be any technology where fans don't possibly have to show up to shovel snow? Like, is there going to be like heated steps where it just melts and goes away, or is that still going to be a factor for the fans that maybe have to come and shovel snow?
Yeah, I mean, that's Buffalo tradition. Why would we want to get rid of that? That's
right.
That's Bill's Mafia. But, it is going to be better in all seriousness. 60% of the seats are being covered. And I do know there is going to be some areas that are heated. I'm not as intimately knowledge, with everything of that, to your point, but it will be better. I know they've got some things in place. And, the other thing is we're going to have more than one tunnel. So even the stuff you have to get off the field right now, you can only get so much equipment in and out of one tunnel. That one's going to have, multiple tunnels. So you'll be able to have more equipment at the same time, getting it off and removing it. But, it's not a dome. So it's not that we can completely avoid it, but I'm excited about it and think, when you turn on the TV to watch the Buffalo Bills play, I think you want to see that outside. I think every fan wants to see that. And I think that's one of the, exciting things about our style of football and what we're all about here in Buffalo.
Yeah, let's get a banner up first week next year. That's what we're planning here in Toronto for you guys. And it starts on Sunday night. It's going to be a great season. Best of luck as always, and we always appreciate you taking time for us. Thank you, Brandon.
You got it. Enjoyed it, guys. We'll talk to you down the road.
You got it. There's Brandon Beane, GM of the Bills. I wonder if it doesn't sound like he's a blueprint guy with the new stadium, and that would be above his pay grade, I guess. But it'll be different, man. It's going to be state of the art. Yes, it's still outdoors. It's not a dome, but that stadium they've been in forever, the Ralph, it's a gritty old stadium, man.
Noodles, they insist on playing in freezing cold weather and snow, and that's Buffalo football, and they refuse to kind of go against it. I got a ton of respect for it.
I like it, man.
I like it. I respect it, but I couldn't, like I told you, I did an outdoor game there for the World Juniors. My wife, I asked her where she was after the game, and she's like, I'm at a restaurant. I couldn't.
She's like, I'm back in Toronto.
Freezing.
She's like, I'm at a restaurant.
The shoveling stuff is true, and it's crazy, but it's uniquely Buffalo, and I think they're, like, I don't want every stadium to be turf and a dome and cookie cutter. I don't want that. I want outdoor. I want different elements. I want.
But,
That's what everything can't be Florida.
But in saying
Arizona.
that, Hayes,
I mean,
like the
that's the way
Super
it
Bowl, although their advantage can get them there, but the Super Bowl's always in some
I know.
sunny stadium, and
I
it's
know.
like their ultimate advantage could never come to fruition at the end of the line.
Understandable, and I think it's a sign that the Super Bowl's like generally the Super Bowl will go somewhere. If you get a new stadium, you might host it. I think maybe Buffalo was told you're not hosting, so there's no point in even making it a dome because it's not going to happen. But
I hope they don't build a new old building, if that makes sense.
well, it's already
like
it's opening next year, so yeah, it's
sure
going to be state of the art. It'll be different, but it's going to feel like Buffalo, and I think that's a good thing. All right, Steve Phillips in about 15 minutes. Gerry's percentages coming up. Jays Reds tonight. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on YouTube Live.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
My bad habits lead to late nights and then alone.
All right, Steve Phillips in 10-15 minutes on Shane Bieber back on the mound tonight. Off day tomorrow then at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees won again last night. Red Sox won again last night.
Yeah.
Those two teams are just red hot.
They're not going to lose. You know
they're
that's
not
going to be the
losing.
play. Yeah.
And the Jays have got to keep winning, ultimately. Yep. And I feel good with Bieber on the mound tonight and the way the bats are producing and Yankee Stadium this weekend.
How much more comfortable you are with Bieber going on the mound than Barrios?
Night and day.
The $150 million man. Mm-hmm. And the thing that's frustrating about him is he looks so athletic. He looks so prepared. And then it just – and I know he had a long break after his start last night, but it was like, man, you're nowhere close.
No, he's not in a good place.
No. And all you need to do is look at Pete Walker because his face will tell you everything.
Yes.
Yes.
Like Schneider was on the phone in the first inning, like calling down, being like, get up, be ready, this is getting ugly. They knew it. They saw it was coming. So Phillips on Barrios, on Bichette, Springer, and how good he's been. That more still to come. Gerry's percentages as well. Hour 2 up next. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 2.
Go, 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 go! The race is on. The Amazing Race Canada. All new. Tuesday at 9 on CTV. Is OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog on TSN 1050.
Hour 2 OverDrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Brian Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles, McLennan. Gerry's percentages making its triumphant return in about a half an hour. Steve Phillips coming up in 7 or 8 minutes ahead of the third game of the series, Jays Reds tonight. If you watch the show on TSN, on YouTube, you find our stuff online, you can notice that we're kind of fonting things differently. The look of the show's different. I like it. I like it. We're adjusting here. And the reason we're doing this is, again, like we talked about in the last hour, is there's a big push here that we're grateful for from TSN to kind of spice up the show and get the show moving in the right direction. Not that it wasn't, but just try to explore every avenue we can to reach as many people as we can and modernize, the production of the show and the way the show operates, which is going to include a campaign coming up.
I can't wait for this one.
That we need to come up with a tagline for the show. And we want people to contribute because generally the best stuff, like one of the great bits we ever did was that lunatic around Toronto that was crapping all over the place, like literally going to the washroom on street corners.
Constipator.
Exactly. And this guy was really it was disgusting. And we asked people to help us because always going to crack the case and go track this guy down, and we needed to come up with a name for it. Some guy wrote in and said, "Oh, it's the constipator," because the crap
we had a
stops
laugh at that one.
here. That was hilarious.
That one.
And I guess we're looking for the same kind of thing because, we've had some contributions from people at TSN and some of the marketing, and I don't know. I don't know if some of these are going to fly that are being thrown around.
I've had one in my mind for a bit. I don't know if it takes a shot at us or not, but it's how we are. Should I say, can I start
Go
with
for it, absolutely. What do you got?
It's a show of unfulfilled promises. And what I mean by that is, how many times have we been like, guys, let's meet for dinner. Hey, we're going to golf. We're going to go on trips. We're going to do this. $500 for this, shake here. Like, all of this stuff, and there's just nothing.
That's
like,
a tough sell. That's a tough sell. It really is.
It's accurate, but I don't know if we want that kind of accuracy.
Imagine going through a guide and saying sports show, unfulfilled promise. I don't know if I'm going to click on that.
I don't know.
It does ring true, though. If you've been following us for a long time, you're probably nodding your head.
See, but also, like, you wouldn't know this as much as Hayes and I because we are Seinfeld guys. Remember when they were pitching the show about nothing? Like, they were like, it's a show about nothing.
Nothing.
They're like, well, what do you mean? Why are we putting it on air? Well, it's not on air. Like,
well, O said that in the meeting yesterday, right? We had all this, because we're all excited to be back, and you know, we're going to have this campaign, and O kind of ended it by saying something of the likes of, like, not a lot of thought goes into this, which that might be a decent tagline.
I think we should. It's got to be something like that, along with a little spin on a Gerry comment. Like, it's not that good, but you're going to want to hear it.
Right.
Something like that.
Okay. I like that.
There's not a lot of thought, but you're going to want to hear it. And that's maybe
you're
a little bit too long.
You're going to want to hear this. That's
you're going to want to hear this.
You're going to want to hear this.
Yeah.
Not this, it. You're going to want to hear it.
See, then, is it too inside baseball? I don't know. Possibly. You know, is it?
This is why we got fans. They can come up with some cool stuff.
Because here's some of the things that were sent our way. Like OverDrive, where offside is onside. No, that's not going to work for us. You know, sports served with chirps. No, that just it doesn't sound right.
It doesn't roll off your tongue.
No, it doesn't.
That's
and it's
the thing.
not. I don't think it kind
of
grabs what we're all about. Unfiltered, unscripted, unmissable. Is unmissable a word? Is that even a word?
That means
that would actually be pretty good for us because we blurt out stuff that is not.
Yeah.
You know, like O comes up with new words every 2 weeks. So that actually may be a pretty good one. Anyway, a solid 6 out of 10 looks and opinions. I like that.
That one could fly.
That's not bad. So anyway, you can text us 105050 to contribute. You can find all this kind of stuff online, Twitter, Instagram. You can find TSN 1050's accounts. And we're going to do this for the next week or so. And the more that come in, we'll read them out. We're going to have fun with this. And, you know, we're seeking out help. Because, again, this is basically what we're all about. We're going to try our hardest, but if we can't get it over the finish line, we need someone else to kind of get us there, right, and push it if they can. So we're excited about it. It's going to be a cool campaign, and we'll see what people write in. I have a feeling we're going to stumble across something online, like a fan of the show is going to write something in and just capture it beautifully.
Well,
and then that'll be it.
A lot of the fans are really good with their, like, helping out with the process.
Yes.
They're going to be coming up with 2-hour frauds.
The fraud stuff is going to be everywhere.
There was one already thrown in there. I thought I read it earlier. It was like 2 good guys and a fraud.
I know.
Something.
The fraud stuff.
Did you read that one?
This year. Like, it's over.
Well, I'm okay with it, but it again, I feel like there's always an explanation on the genesis of it. What it means, are you okay with it? You know, I can't avoid the fraud stuff, man. I was out at the Women's Canadian Open out at Mississauga. I brought my oldest with me. Everly came, and she was really excited. Brooke Henderson. She ends up winning. It was a phenomenal tournament. And fraud comments are coming out of nowhere, and I'm like, yeah. And my daughter's old enough; she gets it. She has fun with it. And I'm like, you can't say Hayes. You're a Hayes. Like, he's talking to you as much as he's talking to me. So we'll see. I don't know if the fraud is ever going to go anywhere. And Luke's with us tomorrow. For those wondering, Luke will be back tomorrow. Al's brother will be in. We'll make our picks. I believe Hazenbro on the clock for the game tomorrow night. So we look forward to that. I don't know if Luke is even – I think we're going to pump you guys because Luke's a CFL guy now. He doesn't know he doesn't follow the NFL. He doesn't know anything about the NFL.
Dude,
he's a
CFL
CFL guy.
Like, Doogie, you want to talk about a layup? Like, Philly will absolutely destroy.
I think
Dallas.
we're going to lay the points tomorrow. I have not seen what the line is ever since the Parsons deal. Last time I checked, it was 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5. We'll see on FanDuel tomorrow.
You think it would be any different with him? Like,
yeah, I know.
Dallas will get crushed.
I think we're going to lay the points tomorrow. I think we're on the champs to take care of business. But then you guys have the game on Friday, neutral site, Kansas City, San Diego, or L.A. Chargers. So we'll see what comes of that. All right, we got a lot of tweets already coming in, people posting on Instagram. We'll blow this out. You know, you can follow along and over the next 7 or 8 days, we'll try to stumble across a tagline that describes our show, as accurately as possible. Self-deprecation likely going to be a big part of it.
Probably involved, yes.
Likely a big part of it. Gerry's percentages in about 20 minutes. Best bets later in the hour. Jays Reds tonight. Bieber on the mound. Here's our TSN baseball insider, Steve Phillips, joining us here on the Maple Toyota Hotline. What's happening, Steve?
Hey, guys. Good to talk to you again.
Great to talk to you. What a wild ride that was last night. The Barrios conversation. I hate to start with a negative because they won and there was a lot of positive, and we will get to it. But when you look at Barrios and where he stands now, for me, clearly the fifth guy in the rotation, if he continues, in this kind of dark place that he's in for the rest of September, what kind of role can he have, will he have come playoff time?
Yeah, I think that he's not going to be on the rotation for the playoffs. And, if it ended right now, I don't see him making the playoff rotation. And because of that, it's why I keep saying that I think that he could use a change. The bullpen could use a change. I would put Lauer in the rotation, and I would put Barrios in the bullpen. And I would give him the experience of going out there, warming up, start an inning to begin with for the first couple times. Doesn't have to be high leverage. But I think that he's got the kind of fastball that will play up if he only has to go out there and air it out for one inning. And he's got the breaking ball with that sweeper that can be a wipeout pitch that, look, you've got a couple things that can fix the bullpen right now. One is the change in philosophy. They've got to be more aggressive. They were better yesterday. But you've got to attack, throw strikes, don't walk anybody, work ahead in the count. If you give up a hit, give up a hit, but you cannot walk anybody because you've got a better chance of putting runners on with a walk and giving up hits if you find hitters in 2-0, 2-1, and 3-1 counts. So you've got to throw strikes. Then you've got personnel. And there's nowhere to go now to fill a spot. Now, they signed Baraki to a minor league deal after he was let go, and they call him up. That's great. He actually is fared pretty well against lefties this year. Righties have torched him. So they've got to find the right run in the lineup to be able to put him into a game so he's not going to get, too many right-handed bats. But I think Barrios could be a weapon. I'd at least want to find out because we've had all year to look at the other guys to know who's part of the solution, who's part of the problem. And I would like to see Barrios get a chance to go out there, and maybe the change out of the role will get him back to being aggressive and attacking. He'll use 2 pitches and just try to use the sweeper and the fastball. But, yeah, I think otherwise, he's a non-entity for me because I don't know that I even start him again the way that he pitched. I would run Lauer back into the rotation right now after the clunker yesterday by Barrios.
So, Steve, I don't mean to double down on the negativity considering where the Jays are, but as a manager, how concerned would you be about the closers and what's been going on there?
Yeah, listen, they've got the worst bullpen ERA since July 27th, second worst since the All-Star break. They have the second highest walk rate for their bullpen. And, they've blown 23 saves on the year. I think it's 8 or 9 now for Hoffman. And, the one thing about Hoffman, I give him credit, like he'll blow a save and he'll come back out the next time and he may get into some difficulty, but he's gotten the job done. It's just that he's proving that he's resilient too much, right? Too many blowing saves to be able to keep showing us he can get the save the next time. And so I'm very concerned about it. I think that now, these guys are all capable. And so, I would do, motivation isn't a big thing in baseball over 162 games. But there's not 162 games left. And now I think that trying to rally the troops, trying to motivate, trying to get them to run together, to become a closer-knit group, to all, hang on each other's pitch, I think you got to try that now. I think you've got to try the emotional aspect of it. Because, it doesn't work in a marathon, but it works in a sprint. And you're kind of in the sprint right now. And so I would challenge them to let's see if we can't, get a 70% first strike rate percentage. Let's see if we can't retire hitters on 3 pitches or less by attacking the zone and get to 70% of the time doing that. And really, as a unit, make them have a goal that they're trying to accomplish that would lead to the success that you want but not trying to find the success, but just trying to do the one pitch at a time to find success. And so I think they've really got to try to do everything they can from a mental state as well as a physical state to get this bullpen back on track.
Steve, unlike these two, I'll stick with some of the positives, and Bo Bichette certainly has been one of those.
I expect that out of you.
It's Mr. Positive.
I fully expected that from you.
Mr.
Exactly.
Positive.
What is his performance, which has been incredible? Like, what is that doing for him as far as numbers that's going to be coming up for him in his next deal? And especially, like his numbers versus Vladdy's numbers. I'm talking about contract numbers. Like, what is he doing for himself as far as particular numbers coming up in his next deal?
Oh, yeah. So he's added zeros to the back end of it, and he keeps changing the number at the front of it, where it might have been $100+ million deal. I think it's well over a $200+ million deal, and it's got a chance to be a $300+ million deal. I mean, he's gonna play at 29 next year. And for the full year, and I think that I think he turns, maybe it's 28. He turns 28 in March. I think it was March is his birthday. But, I mean, he's still young, so that's going to add on the years on the back end of the deal. The fact that he stayed healthy all year, and the fact that he's gotten better, and the fact the power's coming, it's going to be a mega contract. But I still think it's within the range of what the Blue Jays can afford to pay. I do. I think that this is a large market team. Sure, Vladdy's making a lot, but they've got some pitching coming off the books. You hope maybe Tiedemann at some point can work his way in. Savage can work his way in. You've got and so I think there's a way to keep Bichette there and still do it. But, I think teams are going to look at him as a shortstop. Teams are going to look at him as a second baseman, as a third baseman. So you're going to get a lot of demand for him, and it's going to run the price up. But, I think it's one that the Jays could and should still pay.
You just mentioned Vladdy. Like, what are you seeing out of him? Everyone's got the expectations, and they know he's the face of the franchise, and he's got the contract, but there's been a few instances the last couple of games where he's doing his full, point to God after running out a dribbler and getting to first base, and it's just like, that's not like Ohtani Soto-like. Like, it's kind of got a weird look to it, Steve.
Yeah, so, I mean, right, when you get the nibbler infield hit, that's, I don't know that I'm going to the heavens on that one. But I think that I think he's in between right now. So I don't really know how healed that hamstring is, right? It's a little unclear. Is he playing through it? Is it still bothering him some? But he's caught in that in-between space with his approach at the plate. And when he gets that way, when he strides, his center of gravity drifts toward the middle as opposed to striding and keeping his weight on his backside to be able to then hunt the bottom of the baseball, rotate, and drive it. And so when he gets to that point where he drifts forward and his center of gravity changes, he can still deliver the bat through the zone with great bat speed, but the angle of it changes, and instead of the uppercut swing, it becomes the level to down swing, which means he hits a lot of hard ground balls. And so, and he gets that way when he's not healthy sometimes in the bottom half. The legs are the foundation of the swing, and the kinetic links that start with your feet to your calves to your quads and hamstrings to your hips all are part of delivering the bat to the ball, right? The hips lead the hands, and so the bottom half matters. So if there is something wrong there, it's messing up his ability to drive the ball. But when he's not confident to just stay back and drive it and not seeing the ball well, he does get to that midpoint where he drifts a little bit, and that's where I see him right now. The good news is that he's due to get out of it, and he's due to get hot, and he's due to drive the baseball, and he was there for a while, and I suspect he'll get back there again, and it probably happens at just the right time when some of the other guys cool off a little bit.
Well, that's exactly it. The ebbs and flows of, the other guys picking him up, because George Springer is on such a heater right now.
Yeah.
This guy, he's not going to get, high-end MVP votes, but I was reading something out of New York, last week, people saying maybe Stanton should get MVP votes. Are you nuts? If he does, Springer should get 1 million of them. with the way he's played this year. And I love arbitrary
Didn't Stanton
stats.
just come out into the lineup?
Well, he's been hurt all, but when he's playing, he's
played
mashing.
well, but he's still
The point is he was picking up Judge. The point I'm making is that if you're going to find someone not named Judge or not named, Ohtani in the National League, and it's got to be
Cal Raleigh.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be Springer with the way he's performing. He had 2 more home runs last night. I love arbitrary stats in baseball. They're the best because you can come up with whatever detail you want. But we stumbled across one last night. Opta Stats tweeted this out, that over a 45-game stretch, the last 45 games for Springer, he's got 66 hits, 50 runs, 39 RBI, 16 home runs, 9 stolen bases. The only other MLB players to reach all of those numbers over a 45-game span in a single season are Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. Babe Ruth in 1920, Lou Gehrig in 31. I get it's an arbitrary stat. I get it's only a certain amount of time. But Ruth, Gehrig, Springer, that's how good he is. That's how electric he's been. And with Bo doing what he's doing, if Vladdy catches up and they stay at this level, Steve, this is a 3-pack that is going to explode. I don't know how opponents are going to stop them with how well they're playing.
Yeah, and then here's the thing. On either side of that, you've got Nathan Lucas, you've got Addison Barger, you've got Varsho, who's now homered in back-to-back games and really swinging the bat well. Varsho has 17 home runs and 171 at-bats. Think about that. 1 every 10 at-bats is hitting a home run. And that's a huge rate, one of the best rates in the game. And so, Varsho's doing it. And, Clement will come up with a hit. Kirk's come up with some big hits and obviously clearing the bases with the double over the center fielder's head yesterday. And so a lot of good things with the offense. And I'm with you. Springer has, and he really made an effort in the offseason to change his approach, to change his efficiency with his swing. His bat speed is better. He's driving the ball better. There's less movement, and he's in a place where he just gets the bat to the ball almost on every swing. And so it's been a remarkable story. And he certainly, think about, too, for me, the other one that I think is remarkable, he got beamed in the head with, 95 to 97, went on a concussion protocol. And, I always worry about guys coming back from that, where do they flinch, right? When they see the breaking ball come, and it's a natural inclination that you give a little bit, that you hesitate just for a second when that ball looks like it's coming at you. He's not missed a beat. Like, there's no fear whatsoever in his mind. And he's been on a heater since he's come off that concussion protocol. And he's been a great leader for this team. And, there's something about when he dives in head first, scoring at home plate, he gets up and he lets out that roar, that it pulls everybody along with him, including the 42,000 to 45,000 fans at the stadium. He's been fantastic.
It's been a great, great story. Unbelievable story. His stats are off the charts, and this is what they brought him in for. I just thought it would be 3 or 4 years ago as opposed to this year, but full credit to Springer. And I guess nights like tonight are why you go out and get Shane Bieber, and you're trying to win a series. You got an off day tomorrow, then you're at Yankee Stadium, the biggest series of the year, the biggest series in years, I would suggest, starting on Friday. This will be Bieber's 3rd start, since coming back from Tommy John. He's been great through the first 2. Any reason to believe we'll see anything but, electric stuff out of Bieber tonight?
No, I think he'll be good. You work in the extra off day, and at least he's, on the 6th day. And so I think that it's always helpful for him coming back just to get the extra day when you can do it. And so, I'm looking for him to go out there and throw strikes. And if he can do that, then, it comes down to, he's got good enough stuff. So maybe they can hit him, but I don't know that they can as consistent and as many different looks as he can give hitters, where he can throw the fastball with pinpoint control. He can throw the curveball, the knuckle curve, with that 12-6 break, from top to bottom falling off the table. Then he can throw the sweeper and start it on a plate and break it off the plate. And he's got a feel for the changeup as well. And he can throw any pitch at any time in the count to keep hitters off balance, which allows him to go through the lineup into the 3rd time because he's got so many different sequences that he can go to and use all of his pitches in a way to neutralize the hitters. And so he's a fun guy to watch. And if if kids want to learn how to pitch, he's the guy to watch.
Great stuff, Steve. Enjoy the games tonight, buddy. We'll do it again soon.
All right, terrific. Thanks, guys.
Steve Phillips, our TSN baseball insider, joining us here on the Maple Toyota hotline. Drive the built-in Canada fuel-efficient, fun-to-drive Toyota RAV4. Gas or hybrid models available. Visit mapletoyota.com. All right, best bets coming up later in the hour. Gerry's percentages next.
To TSN 1050 tomorrow night as the defending champion Philadelphia Eagles take on their division rival Dallas Cowboys. Coverage starts at 8 p.m. Hear it all on TSN 1050. The NFL lives here.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
You're going to want to hear this.
Gerry's percentages.
I don't love being commissioner as much as I used to. I actually love it even more.
That's the voice of a Hall of Famer.
Are you kidding? Have you been out drinking?
You're all pigeons. Filthy, filthy pigeons.
It's Gerry. Gerry.
All right, here we go. It's been a long summer. Gerry, I'm sure, has been very busy. Great to hear from him again. You know, there's a lot going on in the sports world. We've hit Labor Day. There's playoff chases in the CFL. You got pennant races in baseball. You got
Felix.
the NFL back.
Felix
Auger-Aliassime into the semifinals.
Love it.
And likely to play Sinner. It's going to be Felix versus Sinner, and on the other side is Djokovic-Alcaraz, which is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But shout out to
who would you
Felix.
rather take out of the three? Like, if you had to hand pick one to say this might be my best chance to get in,
Djokovic.
just because of his age.
Yes, because of where he is. Like, Sinner is going to be a massive, massive favorite. Like, that guy just doesn't lose in slams
unreal.
unless Alcaraz gets him in the final of a French Open in like a masterpiece 5-set, circus match.
Hey, never know.
Never know.
Yeah. Felix
is there, though. That's why you play the game. And he's a great talent. So shout out to Felix. You can watch that match, of course, on TSN. You can watch all the U.S. Open on TSN. So a lot going on in the sports world. Let's hear from Gerry.
Well, this clown show has returned for another season, and here comes Gerry to put it over the top. Gerry spent the summer doing his three favorite things: grinding out the CBA details, expansion blueprints to southern markets, and devising this year's plan to make sure no Canadian team wins my Stanley Cup.
That's not true. He doesn't devise a plan to keep it out of Canada, Gerry. What a boring summer.
Do you think Gerry would support an Ottawa-Winnipeg final?
I would love to see his face.
I would know. Love it.
You never know. I'd love a Winnipeg-Ottawa final. I'd love that. All right, Gerry, enough of the funny business. Let's get to the hot takes.
John Tavares will score more goals than Mitchell Marner this year.
That's a good one, man. That's a spicy one for Gerry.
I'll go 75% on that. John's always got more goals. Like, he's for the most part got more goals than Mitch Marner. I don't think that's a secret. And I know John's no kid anymore, but I'll go 75% to John Tavares. And this is not taking a shot. I am so done. Like, this isn't a shot at Mitch Marner.
Mitch was coming up at some point today. It took us 90 minutes. It's a new record. New record. And Gerry brought him up, not us.
Someone's got to keep track of how many shows it takes for us to not mention his name in one show.
Okay. That should be a
we're
bit
0 for 2 now. We're 0 for 2 now.
Yeah. Like, I don't think
fair.
there's a reason to talk about him tomorrow unless he's at the U.S. Open or something. We'll see.
He's coming up tomorrow. Somehow, some way, you
think I'm going to bring him up?
I don't know. But
let's have a contest. It's like the contest. Who can go the longest without mentioning Marner?
What if Christy Pitts all of a sudden was Kelly McCrimmon is standing in Christy Pitts?
We need Pablo Torre on this. There's no trees in the desert, man.
I'm joking.
If there's some tree front in Vegas, exactly. Pablo Torre is going to find out about it.
Yeah.
You're right.
I don't know this percentage. I'm lower on this. And it's because, I mean, Marner's career, what's the most he's
35.
Ever 35.
That year, John had 27 or something. He has outscored him before.
Yeah, John had 38 last year. I don't know. I'm interested to see what role Mitch plays with Vegas.
Well, that's the thing. He's going to get there, and he's going to be thought of as the setup man. Get Eichel the puck, get different guys the puck.
Eichel's a good playmaker, though, man. Like they got playmakers in Vegas.
I think he might
straight up good players.
They do.
I'm saying 45%. I mean, John's a year older. You know, who's he going to be playing with? I mean, that's the other thing too.
Yeah.
Who's Tavares playing with? Who's passing him the puck? If it's Nylander, fine, no problem. But Nylander's a shooter too. They both like the puck. But who's on their line? Like there's a lot of, and we talked about this yesterday. There's a lot of good players there. The Chief has to figure out who's going to play with who and who's got chemistry right away. That's my biggest thing. I'm leaning more Mitch, but not much. I'm talking 45%.
Yeah, I'll go a little bit lower, but I would not be surprised at all. I'll say 35%. You know, I am curious about Marner's transition in. You know, maybe he takes off running. Maybe he just gets there, he eases in, he's comfortable immediately, and puts up a great year. Or maybe, you know, there's a Marchessault element to it. Yeah, maybe it takes a little bit of time. Like, it's a big change for him, man. He's living in a different country, playing in a different conference, very different scenario. So it's not a lock he just gets there and is immediately a rock star. I think Tavares obviously is very comfortable here, so I think he'll play well. So, yeah, I'll say, what did I say, 35%. 35%. Go ahead, Gerry.
That wannabe Roger Goodell can expect to hear from my lawyers because he's stealing Jerry's bits lately. Like trying to play coy about Taylor Swift playing the halftime show. But here's the thing. Jerry's buying it. Swiftie hits the Super Bowl this year. Maybe without the Kansas City Chiefs.
Ooh, I like that. I don't want to see Kansas City there.
I'm so over that.
Well, he's saying that Swift is playing it.
I already told you my thoughts on this. I'm 80% slam dunk that this is going to be happening.
What a win for the NFL if it does. Like, what a win if you get Taylor Swift to play the halftime show.
It'll be the most viewed halftime show of all time.
Yes. There's nothing she does that doesn't break records.
Most watched game of all time.
Yes. Yes.
Especially
if you have some
change
new blood.
do they got to pay the halftime show?
I don't know the whole story because I've heard different things over the years that they don't get paid, that it's about the promotion and the platform, that you're getting the biggest audience of your life.
They're
the hundreds of millions of people watching.
They're paying her.
Yeah, and if someone's paying them, it's probably whoever is sponsoring it, Apple or Pepsi or whatever, right? They're paying, and maybe
there's some kind of tree farm involved.
There'll be a shell corporation that
maybe there's a
money.
shell corporation. It is in California this year. It's in the Bay Area.
I don't know. I'm low on this. I don't think she's gonna why would you do it? Because what if your fiance isn't in it? That's
what if
awkward.
he is in it, and then then you can't really watch because you're preparing for the halftime show, right? Like what? Then that's where your energy's going, as opposed to Kelsey actually playing in the game.
I'm at 8% on this. She just doesn't need it. She doesn't need it.
Does not need it,
and probably doesn't want it. I don't know. Who knows? Are they going to start a family? Are they going to get married first? What are they doing? When are they getting married? Are they getting married at Super Bowl?
That would be great. I said that the other week. I want to see Macho Man Miss Elizabeth style. Just get married during the halftime. I think it'd be absolutely beautiful. I'm going to go a little bit higher than I'm going to say 20%, but I'll believe it when I see it, man. I think if you're the NFL, sure, you would do it. Entertain the idea. Get people talking about it. It's provocative. Yeah. And if they're going to be married and together forever, she'll be connected to the NFL forever. But I don't know. It's weird to say it because it's the Super Bowl. It's as big of a gig as you can get, but it almost feels like beneath her in a way, or too small for her. Like she's too big to play the halftime show. All right, Gerry, what else do you have?
The NBA will investigate and punish the Clippers over this Kawhi Leonard tree planting payment story. What a gig for Kawhi.
Just hearing someone describe it that way, a tree planting. Yes, Gerry of all people. a tree planting payment story.
Scam.
A scandal. All right. You think the NBA is going to launch a full investigation and actually penalize Ballmer and the Clippers over this?
I don't see how they don't. Although there might be some heavy hitters, and you guys talked about it earlier, how some other guys might be up to some nonsense. But you can't have this going on and send a message throughout the guys that are doing business by code and say there's nothing going to happen here. What the hell kind of precedent are you going to set? I'm going to say 90%. They have to come down with some kind of punishment.
They have
to. How embarrassing that is.
Yeah, I'm high on this too. I might be 95. Would you say 90? I'm 95%. I'm 90. You have to. If this is verified, and it sounds like it's verified, there's a lot of.
The smoking gun is smoking.
There's a smoking gun, but the level of, I guess, punishment, that's where the jury's out. Because, like I say, if it's a slap on the wrist and, hey, $5 million fine and a first-rounder type of thing, but don't do it again, that means the rest of the owners are like, hey, let's take it easy here, folks.
Well,
not,
here's an analogy I would use, an example of something we've been through recently where my initial reaction was the whole world's going to explode. This is going to be the craziest story ever. I can't wait to see where it goes. And it went nowhere. And that would be the Shohei Ohtani gambling story. When that broke, it was he's done. Shohei's the next Pete Rose. This is going to end baseball. And then they just said, actually, it's this guy and nothing to see here. Shohei's fine. And he just moved on with his life and his career. That is possibly going to happen here, right? Because you're going to get zero cooperation from Kawhi Leonard. Zero. You think he's picking up a phone from Adam Silver? He's not answering that call. He's not saying anything. He's not going to talk about anything. No one in his group is going to talk about it. Ballmer, if he's got receipts on, well, this was actually legitimate and we actually tried it and we went bankrupt because it didn't work, maybe he can talk his way out of it. And I'm not naive enough to believe 100% that he's the only guy that's ever done this. That's where it gets spicy. If everyone else in the NBA has done it too, then he may get clipped with a wink, wink, nudge, nudge for the whole community. Hey, take one for the team here because it went public. But we're not going to get crazy because we don't want Ballmer exposing everyone else. So
that's fair.
I'll say 49%. But I'm skeptical because, the initial reaction to a lot of these stories is, the earth is falling or the sky is falling, and then it doesn't materialize. And Shohei's a perfect example. Different context. But remember when that came out, that he, the gambling and the wiring and the money, I could not believe that story. And I thought it was going to have serious implications on him and his life and his career. They swept that under the rug in a week.
Yeah, I had somebody the other day still tell me that they think that he was the one that was gambling. And I was
I think there's a lot of people that believe that. But
the bookie is on the record saying he believes Shohei knows.
Directing.
Yeah, he's a bookie, so the integrity of that guy, is not necessarily going to hold
Guy's
up
in a tracksuit.
Hey, here's Jimmy the bookie.
And it's not like judging or anything like that or stereotyping, but how many interpreters are getting involved in that kind of high dynamic gambling stuff? You know what I mean?
And it's a lot of money. It's your account. I know. So,
but think about it though. That was the biggest signing, the face of baseball, the best player, arguably, to ever play the game.
Mm-hmm.
They just want that to go away. They don't want, months and months of investigation and all of that type of stuff. Now, how could you do this if you were Kawhi? Blame it on the uncle? Isn't there a weird uncle
Dennis.
that hangs
Uncle Dennis
that hangs around him?
Yes. That may end up happening where Kawhi goes, hey, it's my LLC or whatever, but I don't really have control over it, and blah blah blah.
But Kawhi's signature is. Did you see? There's a signature Kawhi Leonard on the To me, Uncle Dennis gets pinched for it, and he maybe gets in trouble for it. That's kind of what happens. It's it wasn't me; it was the uncle.
Yeah, I mean, is it if someone's just going to give you money for a no-show job?
Yeah,
it sounds shady, but I don't know how illegal all this is. But
that's true.
As for the NBA and Ballmer, it's an explosive story, man. It's explosive. The idea of circumventing the cap with and a lot of money. Like, if it was $100,000, it's still a lot of money, and you look at it and think that's a problem. $28 million is huge cash.
Yeah,
huge.
And
cash.
if it's cash, like an actual
right
bag of money.
Like, are you filing for that? Or this is a good point. Is the IRS in the States looking into this now? I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, Gerry, what else do you have?
My boy Josh Allen is going to go back-to-back winning the MVP. Might even go ahead and mix in a Super Bowl, too. I heard old Hazy B saying he thinks it's Buffalo's year.
Yep, I did. I made that proclamation last night on Jay on SC. Good to see Jay and the crew back last night on SportsCenter, too. It was great.
Yeah.
But Jerry's got him going back-to-back. He won the MVP last year, and he thinks Josh Allen will do it again this year.
Difficult to do, man, as talented as he is and as much as he's like this big, strong dude that does it all. But I kind of do like his chances. I'm going to give him 60% chance. Because there's the usual suspects, man. You got Patrick Mahomes in the fold, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, it's a small amount of guys who can win this thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, Hayes? 5 tops?
Yeah, it's quarterbacks, and Burrow's in there, and
Burrow's in there. Who knows what the kid's going to do in Washington? Daniels, he might have a letdown. He might be outrageously good this year. He might toss himself in there, but other than that,
you know who's
60%.
I'm high on it too because I do believe Buffalo's going to win, or maybe it's just wanting them to win. You know whose name we haven't brought up in 2 days, and it really is kind of invisible for me, is your old boy from Green Bay there now in Pittsburgh.
Oh, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
you're right.
Rodgers.
Yeah, they start their season in New York against the Jets.
Gotta watch it.
But you gotta watch it. But it hasn't been noisy around him.
You're right. It's been very quiet.
Now maybe that's a Tomlin effect or whatever. But I don't know what it is. But this guy has always been front and center. Disruptor, distraction, all of that. I haven't heard much out of that.
I think that's a good sign.
It is
if you're a Steeler fan and you're the Steelers, because the Steelers have cachet, man. Mike Tomlin's, you got to respect that guy.
Yes,
he wins and he runs a great program, and I think Rodgers respects. I don't think he respected the Jets. Jets weren't the right place for him. He looked down on them. They were a mess.
Well, that coincides with the losing and all the nonsense.
Exactly.
If they were winning, I'm sure there would have been a lot more respect from all levels.
Sure. And he's got to own that, too. He's the quarterback of the team. And he blew his Achilles out 4 snaps into his first year there.
Crazy.
But, as for Allen, it's a short list. There's 6-7 guys who can win this thing for the most part. Maybe Baker has a great year. Jared Goff, this Brock Purdy have a bounce-back year possibly. But it's a quarterback every year. And it's one of the 7 or 8 best guys, and he's one of them. So I'm high on this too. I'm going to say 61% because I think he's just going to be a beast, man. I think he's no one perfects the position, but he's real close to doing it.
I'm 70. I went the highest, 70%.
That's really high. The 3 of us are all that high on one guy winning the MVP.
I just like
that's McDavid stuff. That's Judge.
I have a little
stuff.
mini football Jerry's.
Okay.
Christian McCaffrey plays 85% of his team's games this year.
No.
He's such a Band-Aid, but
I'm low on
I know, but he's so good.
When he's healthy, he's so good.
Yeah.
And last year was a write-off year, and I'm going to be pretty. I'm going to say 25%.
Yeah, I was going to say 20. You just
Unfortunately,
can't do it. You can't do it.
Yeah,
I was going to say 20% too. That's disappointing, but that's what we believe now. That's what you expect.
That's his rep, and he yo-yos a lot, though. Like to be fair to him, he's still relatively young. He's 29, I think. But even when he was in Carolina, it was injured year, unreal year, injured year, unreal year. I think it's easier to do that at 23, 24, 25. They need him though in San Fran. Like they got a soft schedule. They have a soft schedule in San Francisco. You got Purdy there. You still have a lot of talent and weapons. You got good coaching staff. But, that's a good mini Jerry.
Yeah.
And if you're a fantasy player, that was the ultimate conundrum. I know you guys don't do pools, but, where do you draft them? Can you trust them? I don't know.
Thought you guys
that Purdy's going to be fascinating, too, Hayes, with that money attached to him because for years it was $743,000. And now it's $43 million.
Mm-hmm. Making a fortune. And now guys have to leave because he's getting paid, where before guys could stay because he wasn't getting paid. It flips, and now the pressure's always on you because of the position you play. But we know this. When your dollar amount always counts. It's always filtered through the evaluation of who you are and what you do. Yeah. Purdy's making bank now. All right, there you go. Gerry's percentages. Good to have Gerry back. And we'll continue to do that role play level of concern coming up. All the good stuff as we move forward with OverDrive. We'll get to our best bets powered by FanDuel. Tee up Jays Reds tonight. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN 2.
And 1050 tomorrow night as the defending champion Philadelphia Eagles take on their division rival Dallas Cowboys. Coverage starts at 8 p.m. Hear it all on TSN 1050. The NFL lives here.
Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, best bets powered by FanDuel. Make your picks and assemble a same-game parlay in seconds on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Looking for value here. I'm on Bichette to record a hit, Springer to record a hit. It's huge minus money because they're so hot, but I think that's going to continue. And I'm parlaying that with Bieber over 5.5 strikeouts tonight. That's paying plus money. So you got to find plus money, parlays here with the Jays. They're a pretty heavy favorite to win. I do think they'll win tonight. And it's a big one to get this because the Yankees aren't slowing down. The Red Sox aren't slowing down. They're an off day tomorrow. Then you're at Yankee Stadium on Friday, biggest series of the year. So Bichette to record a hit, Springer to record a hit, Bieber over 5.5 strikeouts tonight. Best bets powered by FanDuel. The first inning means as much as the ninth when you bet baseball on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Please play responsibly, 19 plus, physically located in Ontario. All right, we got Jays Reds tonight. We got the NFL tomorrow. Luke will be back. Al's brother will be back tomorrow.
I think there's a spicy meatball brewing here. We talked about that Pablo Torre story with Kawhi. You see in the reports that he's looking into the Knicks and Jalen Brunson next.
Well, because remember, Brunson famously left a lot of money on the table.
Yes.
And they sold it as Good Samaritan, just wants to be a Knick, wants everyone else to get paid.
So your boy Jimmy Dolan might be right in there.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? Like this, like I say, this could open a big door here.
Yeah.
That could be, I think that's why maybe the NBA just goes, hey,
is this a
don't
Watergate
do that
moment?
anymore.
Is this going to unearth a lot of
go down to
business?
The swamp. There's not a dead body, but there's something you like.
Yeah. Head on down to Christie Pitts. Well, here's the thing.
I never thought that we'd have a Christie Pitts segment. Stupid talk is now reality.
Yeah. There it is. Stupid talk is now reality. There's our
tagline.
Stupid talk is now reality.
Yeah.
OverDrive. I like that one.
That is a good tagline.
Add it to the list. All right, we've established a contest. Who's going to mention Mitch Marner last, I guess. If you mention him, you're out of the contest.
Get the buzzer ready, Doogie.
Yep, get it ready.
Whoever brings up Mitchie.
Starting tomorrow. Because someone's going to get jammed with something that's totally reasonable to bring his name up. Whatever it is, talking about.
Well, you know what's going to happen tomorrow. Where all three of us are purposely not going to say his name.
I know, but what news will break that something's going on, or Pablo Torres in Vegas sniffing something out.
We'll bring in Strutty and he'll call him Mariner or something.
Mitch
like
Mariner.
that.
Mariner.
Exactly.
Yeah, he'll jam.
By the way, speaking of the NHL, I can't believe you're maybe we should get Pierre on tomorrow or something to go through the ins and outs of what's happening. There's 84 games.
Yeah, the CBA is changing. They're going to 84. They're going to start earlier.
Playoff,
ideally
salary cap. Maybe we should get into some of that stuff tomorrow. Tomorrow's football.
Tomorrow we got Luke, and listen, we're coming off the Jays, but I think there's time for that tomorrow because there's a lot of people wondering, is Eichel going to get paid in Vegas before the year starts? Is Kaprizov going to get paid for the respective teams?
For sure.
What is Connor going to do? Kyle Connor in Winnipeg. He's going into his final year. There's
quiet there. Nobody talks about that.
I know. I'll bet you they are in Winnipeg, though. Jonathan Taves is a great story, and I saw him skating around in jet skier, and it looks great.
Yeah,
looks very natural on him. But Ehlers just left. What does Connor do? What does Connor do now? You got to get in front of that if you're the Winnipeg Jets. Yeah. So we'll get into all that tomorrow. Luke will be back. We got the NFL starting. We've got our picks tomorrow. We're coming off a Blue Jay game. We got a contest. Right? We got a lot of things going here. We're looking for taglines. You can text us, 105050, tweet us, email us, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you find us. There you go. All right, good stuff. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out today. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in today. TV, radio, podcast, web. We're up on YouTube Live on TSN's YouTube channel. Every single show up on YouTube Live on TSN's YouTube channel. You can find us everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. We're all over the place. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy the games tonight. We're back tomorrow at...
Tomorrow, Owen Wilson comes alive. At?
4 p.m.
We'll chat then.